Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to lesson 5.4. And today's question is, how is adding and subtracting fractions similar to adding and subtracting decimals? Give me a second, let me type that up, and then we'll get to our vocabulary and then review. There is our question again. How is adding and subtracting fractions similar to adding and subtracting decimals? And what we're going to see is we're going to see some similarities here, especially with our work today. And then the second part, let's look at what vocabulary that we are going to be learning today, if we do not know already. So the first one we will be thinking about is called the addend. The second one is the sum. And yeah, hopefully the sum is a recognizable word. If not, it'll be something that we will actually learn today. So today's vocabulary, addend and sum. Now, as we move into our review section, I want to point out something that we really looked at yesterday. And what I want you to think about is I want you, as we look at, I'm gonna make some shapes for you. I want you to ask, is this a fraction? Well, I'm going to ask, I want you to answer fraction, and then if it is, name it. If it is not, why isn't it? So let's start. Now, for all of my shapes, boys and girls, let's just pretend that I make a nice rectangle. So in this case, I'm going to make let's pretend that that's a really nice rectangle, and this is like this, and let's color this in. So a question is this a fraction? Yes or no? Well, hopefully, boys and girls, when you look at this shape right here, you're going to think that this is a fraction. And ideally it is, aside from Mr. Winkleman's drawing. So it is a fraction, so it's going to be yes. And then the question is, what fraction is it? Well, if you say it's 1/2, because it is one out of 2 parts colored in, you are correct. All right, let's look at another shape, and this one's even going to be more difficult. I don't know why I don't just choose simple shapes. Okay, now that's an equilateral triangle, and let's pretend that that is equal. All those are equal, and let's then color in this one right here. Okay. Then the question for you again is this a fraction? And if it is, name it. Well, again, this is Mr. Winkleman's best drawing that he can do on an iPad at, what time is it? At 9:45 at night. So it is a fraction. This is a fraction. And what fraction is it? Well, boys and girls, we have to count the number of pieces. There are 1, 2, 3 pieces. 3 parts. The whole is broken into 3 parts. And then how many have we colored in? Well, that would be 1. Alright? So notice, boys and girls, that 2 parts, 1's colored in. 3 parts, 1 is colored in. Let's look at our next shape here. Again, let's pretend that that's a perfect rectangle. Pretend that Mr. Winkleman did not draw that somewhat messy. Alright, here we go. And let's color in this part right here. Again, pretend that these lines are straight. Alright, now when we look at this, boys and girls, the question is this a fraction? And if it is, name it. Now, hopefully, boys and girls, you realize that this is not a fraction, because a fraction is broken into equal pieces. Notice this piece is about the same, should be the same, but because of my drawing they might be off a little bit, as this one. This one, this one, and this one, they're all the same. Well, here we have this, 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 but then this piece right here is so much larger. So while this is a shape broken into different pieces, it is not broken into even pieces. And a fraction has to have even pieces. So boys and girls, this is not a fraction. No, no, no. Exclamation point, exclamation point. And why isn't it a fraction? It's because it's not broken into It's not divided into a whole. The whole is not divided into equal parts. It doesn't matter how many parts it's broken into, whether it's 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I were to continue drawing lines, yes, but as this, small piece, small piece, small piece, huge piece. So they're not broken into the same size, same equal sized pieces. All right, let's move on to video 2.